Okay, good morning guys. I'm down on my veggie patch this morning. A few things to be getting on with down here today. We're only going to be down here for an hour or so, but I've got the wife with me today who's giving me a hand. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing off weeding the remaining beds and covering them over so they're ready for next year. So what I'll be doing is I'll be using the rest of my bag of mulch, which you can see there in the big white bag, and then we can make use of that bag because I get to keep it, and we can use that for doing a rubbish run, things like that. Also, I'm going to be putting in some potatoes into tubs and putting them into the polytunnel, and then hopefully we will get a crop for Christmas. They're supposed to go in September or late September, but it won't matter them going in now. I'm going to be doing Charlottes and hopefully Pentland Javelin and see what they turn out like. So yeah, lots to be getting on with, lots to do, and I'll come back to all you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I've been down the allotment this evening with the missus, and we've cleared a few more raised beds this evening and mulched them over, and then covered them over with the black cloche, stop the weeds from coming over, and just had a general tidy up. So as you can see, we've done the raised bed that had sweet corn in it, we've mulched that over and then covered it over with black sheeting. We've also done the raised bed that had the courgettes in. We've also, if I swing you round, we've also sorted out the bed that had the Calabrese in that we didn't get a chance to pick this year because we were ill when it was all ready to be harvested. So the only other raised bed that we've got to do is this one here, but that's pretty much when we've cleared that last remaining bit of mulch out of the bag. And also, if I swing you around, we just have to do this raised bed down here in the corner, cover that over once we've weeded it with mulch and black sheeting, and eventually sort this one out here. And what I'll do is I'll take you into the polytunnel now and show you what we've started to do in the polytunnel. Okay, we've started to clear the polytunnel. We've cleared one side of it, and what I've done is I've planted some Wheeler's cabbages in here and some spring cabbage. Hopefully they'll be okay. These few we're just going to see if they survive better in here than outside. They're ready for, hopefully they'll be ready for next year's Hunger Gap, and then eventually at some point over the weekend or over the next few days or week or so, we'll clear the rest of the polytunnel and get it ready for next year, and then hopefully it can be ready to put stuff in here that's ready or that should go in the polytunnel. So it's not looking too bad at the moment, lots to do and things to get ready, and then we'll shut the allotment down ready for the new growing season next year. Okay, the wife has weeded one of our final raised beds that is going to be covered over and mulched over. Eventually also we're going to take down the runner bean canes, clear all that, mulch that over, close that down ready for next year's growing season. One of these raised beds though, we are going to plant some of the winter cabbages and cauliflowers that we've got. So I don't know which raised bed we'll use, but we'll put the black cover over, we'll cut squares in it, and then we will put the cauliflowers and the cabbages into the squares. Basically what that'll do is that'll stop all the weeds from coming up in the beds, and hopefully we won't have to do much weeding next year. Also, it will cut down on the digging. So basically this thing that goes around called no dig, I haven't dug any of my beds, we've just taken out all the weeds, so that should also help. But yeah, this raised bed's ready to go, so I'm going to go and get the mulch. We'll mulch it over, and then we will cover it over with the black sheeting, and then decide which raised bed we're going to use to plant the cauliflowers and the cabbages in. Okay, so that's this bed now mulched over with the mulch improving compost, and now what we're going to do, we're going to cover it over with the black sheeting, and hopefully that will stop all the weeds from coming up through. So we'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, we've not been able to finish this raised bed because we've run out of our black cloche that goes over to stop the weeds from coming up, but we'll buy some more and then we'll come back to this bed. Okay, so I've got two black circular tubs here, or pots, and I'm going to put my Charlotte potatoes in here and then stick them into the polytunnel. I've got some multi-compost or multi-purpose compost. I'll split that between the two tubs, and then I've got my Charlotte potatoes here. Hopefully they'll be okay in the polytunnel, keep the frosts at bay, and hopefully we will get a crop ready, and hopefully it'll be ready for Christmas. So I'm going to pot these up, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I've finished. Okay, so as you can see guys, I've got the two tubs full of compost now. I've split the bag between two of them, and now I'll just put my potatoes into the pots, put a label, and then when they start materializing through the compost, I'll just put some more compost over the top of them. Right, as you can see guys, this has got a lovely chit on it. On some of them it's got 2 or 3 chits, but what I've decided to do is take a couple of them off and just leave it with the one, and then I'm going to place that inside the soil or compost, and I'm going to put it down as far as I can get it, just like that, cover it over, and I'll do the same with this one here. As you can see, it's got loads of chits, so I'll take some of them off. Again, I've got a nice chit at the top there, and what I'll do is just bed that deep into the compost. It's nice and moist, this compost. I mean, you can leave all the chits on, but I just think it's easier to get more healthy growth is just to take some of them off. Leave the strongest chits on there, as they say. Or as Dave would say from Dave's Allotment Garden, what a lot of lovely chits. Sorry for that pun. So that one's all filled up, guys. I'll get a label for that and I'll stick that in the polytunnel, and we're ready to go on the first tub. Okay guys, I'm going to give you a plot tour now. I brought you into the polytunnel just to show you what's going on in here. We've cleared one side of the raised bed that we had tomatoes in and various other bits and pieces this year, from celery to spring onions to cucumbers. They've now got some winter cabbages in there, Wheeler's cabbages and a couple of spring cabbages. So hopefully we're going to see what they look like. Hopefully it'll be a little bit warmer in here, so they'll get a bit more protection from the frosts. We may still have to cover them over, but we'll see how we go. I've also got my Charlotte potatoes in here just to see if we get a crop for Christmas. And then it's just basically clearing out the rest of the raised beds here, ready for next year's growing season. So I'll take you and show you more parts of the plot. Okay, I've taken you around to the back of the greenhouse here. This is where we've got our herb raised planter, which will probably be coming down to our new house into our garden, or the herbs will be. I don't know about the planter. Also, we've got our wildflowers here, and we're going to have more wildflowers around the back here to give our plot a little bit more diversity, to attract more of the bees that pollinate all our fruits and vegetables. So yeah, be lovely flowers around the back of the greenhouse here, and I'll take you on and show you other parts of the plot. So stood by the rhubarb, and this is the boxed planter I made. So I've put a new planter inside and then a box around it. It did have a lid, but the lid started to crumble, so I've thrown it away. But there's a little bit of rhubarb here that we can pick from, and then that will start to shut itself down and be ready for next year's wonderful growing season. I'll take you on and show you more parts of the plot. So I'm stood by a couple of raised beds here that we've been mulching over and getting ready for next year's growing season. This pathway here also has to be trimmed back with my strimmer and my lawnmower, but yeah, we've been shutting the raised beds down now, ready for next year. So we've weeded the raised beds, we've then mulched them over and then covered them over with the black sheeting. We've done another one this morning, but we couldn't do the black sheeting because we've run out. We haven't got enough of it to cover the whole raised bed. So when we get some more of that, we'll be able to do that. That one will then be ready. This one has got purple Brussels sprouts in it. And it did have cabbages, but I don't think the cabbages really survived, but we'll see if we get any Brussels sprouts from them. If not, we'll pull all that out, we'll cover that, we'll weed it, mulch it over, cover it over, and that will also be ready for next year. The raised bed here, this has got Cavallonero in it, which is a variety of kale. It's really nice, roasted in the oven with lots of herbs and spices. So we'll pick the remainder from that and then have this raised bed closed down. I will be growing that again next year because that was, I'm not great, don't eat veg, but that was really nice roasted in the oven and I tried a bit, so I'll try a bit more of that again. Did like that. But all the square raised beds you can see here, they're already done. These are what had my potatoes in, and again for next year they'll have, or some of them will have my potatoes in again. Strawberry bed has been pretty much weeded. That's pretty much ready for next year as well. I'll take you around and show you the remaining parts of the plot. So I'm buying most of the raised beds that have been covered over now, so just the runner bean one here left to cover over. As I say, we've still got some runner beans off that. We'll pick the last of them and then cover it over. This has got the Swiss chard in it and also the rainbow chard, so we'll probably pick the last of what's available there and then cover this one over. We've also got our raised bed there with the remaining of our pumpkins in, our squash, and we'll pick them. The raised bed that's got our butternut squash in it, we'll pick the last of those, again cover that over, and also I shall take my giant leeks up. So the only things left to do really is just cover these last few raised beds up with mulch, cover them over with the black sheeting, and then also weed the fruit cage here, because my wife wants to take the fruit trees down to our new garden for our new house when we move. But yeah, as you can see guys, it's not looking too bad. A really good plot tour, and I hope to see you guys again real soon. This is a massive shout out to all my YouTube friends. Thanks for watching and subscribing. To see more from Nick's Veggie Patch, hit the thumb button at the bottom of the page to save video to favourites, and hit the button in the bottom right hand corner to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.